Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Watch my video and subscribes my channel. Luna back on screen. Brooke snaps at Ridge. Brooke steals Ridge from Taylor. Luna questions Lee. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for next 3 weeks, July 28th to August 15th, predict that Brooke Logan will take Ridge Forrester from Taylor Hayes as Electra Forrester considers a new job. Lee Finnegan will also manage a tricky cover-up. So let's explore what's next on B&B. The week of July 28th to August 1st will bring Sheila Sharp's wish for some form of goodbye with Luna Nozua, but Lee will shut her down. Sheila won't have a chance to see the body and may get excuses instead of info on Luna's urn or cemetery spot. Meanwhile, Lee will care for Luna as her hidden patient, somewhere private. There'll be on-screen proof that Luna is alive, but she'll be unconscious as Lee continues bringing her back to health. As for Electra, she'll hear Will's pitch and explore a new profession, one that involves working as a fashion model. In Italy, Brooke and Ridge will start things off on a positive note. There'll be some boat ride bonding, but the mood will turn sour as Ridge tries to block Brooke from spending time with Nick Marone after the fashion show. Brooke will decide she's had enough, so she'll lash out and stomp off. Nick will have a boat waiting for Brooke as well, so that'll set the atmosphere for a marriage proposal and plenty of romantic moments. Brooke's trip will ultimately take a catastrophic turn, so expect for Ridge to save her after an accident. The week of August 4th to 8th will offer some terrifying events and could leave Brooke in danger of drowning, but Ridge will come through for her in the end. This event will give Ridge the push he needs to realize Brooke is the only woman he wants to be with. Ridge will definitely lay a kiss on Brooke and pray he's not come around too late. Even if Brooke tries to put up a bit of a fight, we all know Ridge is who she wants. Nick's going to be out of luck by the end of this journey and may sail out alone. The week of August 11th to 15th will provide a tough assignment for Ridge, since he'll have to figure out how to communicate dreadful news to Taylor. How is Ridge going to tell Taylor that he's calling off their engagement and getting back together with Brooke? Of course, there may be some publicity about Ridge's Brooke rescue that gives Taylor a pretty decent picture of where he stands. Whatever the case, Taylor is heading for heartache and will realize she's been wasting her time with Ridge. As a result, Taylor could choose to quit this dreadful practice and accept that Ridge is never going to show her the dedication she deserves. Back with Luna, she may eventually recover consciousness and throw questions at Lee. This could be Lee's time to show Luna sympathy and declare she couldn't send her to prison again. Lee hid Luna's survival instead and will continue to lay the burden on Poppy Nozoa for how Luna ended out. As far as Lee's concerned, she'll think it's time to provide Luna some real assistance, coupled with a chance to truly change. Meanwhile, Hope Logan and Daphne Rose's feud will flare up with Carter Walton at the center of it. Carter will undoubtedly find himself lured toward Daphne despite his best attempts to fight temptation. Taylor Hayes plays dirty. How far will she go to stop Bridge reunion? Taylor Hayes has mellowed out on the bold and the beautiful. It wasn't that long ago that she was having food fights and sending other men to sleep with Brooke Logan. Taylor knows deep down that she is losing Ridge Forrester again, and B&B spoilers indicate sparks will fly for Bridge in Naples, Italy. How far will she go to keep her man? Here's what's coming up next on Bold and Beautiful. Spoilers down below. Taylor has no problem fighting for her man. B&B spoilers indicate Taylor Hayes can see the writing on the wall. She knows that Ridge and Brooke could hit the sheets while they are in Italy. Since she wasn't invited, Taylor does the next best thing and pushes Captain Nick Marone to put it on thick with Brooke in Europe. Taylor is considered to be a bit of a jet-setter and has spent some time in Italy. It wouldn't be difficult for her to jump on a plane and fly to Italy personally. Ridge's fiancé knows that Eric Forrester is trying to push the exes back together. She might even decide to crash the Forrester Creations trip to make sure that there's no funny business going on. Brooke and Ridge canoodle in Italy. Sadly, it doesn't matter what Taylor does. Bradley Bell has already dropped teasers suggesting that Brooke and Ridge are endgame. We know that something happens in Italy that is a game changer and triggers a change of heart for Ridge Forrester. Taylor's engagement is going to be short-lived, and she's headed for an emotional battering. Do you think that Taylor Hayes will cross a boundary, trying to stop the inevitable? Will she follow them to Italy? Italy rescue. Nick sabotaged Taylor's devious move. The bold and the beautiful spoilers for the next 2 weeks predict major twists. Fans may expect some drama in Italy as Brooke Logan falls in the sea. It looks like Nick Marone could get sabotaged, but he won't give up. Plus, Taylor Hayes could discover a method to spy on Ridge Forrester while he's overseas. Keep reading, and let's chat about what is coming up in the CBS soap drama, Eric Forrester's Threat. Before getting to the 2-weekers, let's start off with what's going from July 28th to August 1st. Eric Forrester offers a warning to Nick. However, Nick is the type of man that does what he wants, so he won't listen, which could lay the scenario for some sabotage. Nick Marone's complications. It looks that Nick and Brooke get separated somehow in Italy. At some time, Brooke climbs on Ridge Forrester's boat. Back on the streets of Italy, Nick is imploring a man to find him a boat. Later, Nick confidently announces, "Let the fun begin." So, it sounds like he is ready to fight for the woman he loves. Brooke Logan's accident. However, at one point, Brooke slips into the sea. It looks like Ridge will be the one to play hero for Brooke. Meanwhile, will Nick report back to Taylor Hayes what's going on? Taylor did ask him to keep eyes on Brooke, but she may could spy on her fiancé herself. The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Next 2 weeks. During the week of August 4th, viewers can expect Ridge to have a romantic epiphany. That likely leads Ridge to beg Brooke to come back to him. I wonder if there will be a twist, and whether Brooke will suddenly discover she's better than the Waffle King. There could also be John Finnegan and Bridget Forrester's probe into Liam Spencer's Miraculous. That might create a lot of difficulty for Grace Buckingham. Steffi Forrester Finnegan will be leaving town for a little bit with the children. Of course, fans know that the actress is currently pregnant with her 5th kid. While she'll vanish for a little bit, Steffi will return. There should also be an update regarding what comes next for Liam. With Steffi gone, may Liam become closer to Hope Logan? The bold and the beautiful thundered into the most dramatic 3 weeks ever, from July 28th to August 15th, as tangled emotions, sun-drenched betrayals, hidden secrets, and long-buried truths detonated across Italy and Los Angeles. Brooke Logan's perilous Italian hideaway took a spectacular turn that concluded with Ridge Forrester making the biggest vow of his life. Taylor Hayes, embarrassed and blindsided, crumbled as Brooke resumed her position beside Ridge in a flurry of sensuality. While back home, Luna Nozawa stirred from a coma to find herself incarcerated in a private medical jail. Lee Finnegan's tight grip on the truth was about to crack when Luna finally opened her eyes, and a single word from her shaking lips. Why? What followed was a tsunami of deceit, confrontation, romantic redemption, and the sharp collapse of lies built too high. It all began as the Forrester jet touched down on Italian soil, sunlight sparkling off the Amalfi Coast, while Brooke and Ridge exchanged awkward yet familiar stares. Their encounters were cordial, even flirty, but something darker boiled beneath the surface. Ridge had maintained the trip was about fashion, but Eric Forrester's true goal had been set in motion weeks earlier, reconnecting his beloved Bridge. He believed they were endgame, and he was done seeing Ridge waver between Brooke and Taylor. So Eric carefully planned separate vacation plans, limiting Taylor's access to the itinerary while urging Nick Marone to ignite romantic fires with Brooke. It was a triangle within a triangle, one about to implode. As Brooke prepared for the Forrester fashion presentation, Electra Forrester emerged from the shadows with intrigue of her own. Electra, the mysterious and stylish niece from the European branch of the Forrester family, found herself courted by young fashion influencer Will Spencer. Will urged Electra return to Los Angeles, not just as a designer, but as a model and social media ambassador. Electra examined it seriously, drawn by the thrill of Los Angeles and the potential to finally break out of the background. But she was also burdened by a secret of her own, a romantic past with Thomas Forrester. Meanwhile, back in Los Angeles, Sheila Sharp begged for one final goodbye with Luna. Her pleas were chilly and desperate, met only with silence and indifference from Lee. The urn containing Luna's ashes? Non-existent. The gravesite? Unavailable. The truth? Far more twisted. Luna was alive, lying unconscious in a secluded cottage Lee had rented under a fictitious identity. IVs nourished her. Monitors blinked, and Lee sat beside her nightly, mumbling prayers and regrets. Her own God complex, so similar of when she'd faked Finn's death, now extended to her niece. This was control masquerading as kindness. This was punishment disguised as protection. In Italy, Brooke and Ridge enjoyed a boat trip following the fashion presentation, which turned uncomfortable when Ridge forbade Brooke from spending any time with Nick. She accused him of envy. He accused her of selfishness. Words flared, old scars revived, and Brooke stormed off, straight into Nick's arms. Nick, always ready with a yacht and a glass of wine, offered Brooke more than simply escape. He proposed marriage, a beautiful gesture beneath the Mediterranean sunset. Brooke didn't say yes. She didn't say no. But she did consent to a private boat cruise, if only to clear her brain. Unbeknownst to her, the waters will soon turn hazardous. As Taylor Hayes sat in Los Angeles, stewing in silence, she called Nick to receive updates. He kept her informed of Ridge's relationship with Brooke, but concealing the proposal, and Taylor sensed time was running short. Fueled by rage and dread, Taylor booked the next ticket to Naples, warning no one. She was done playing second fiddle, done waiting for Ridge to choose wrong again. That very same day, calamity struck. Brooke slipped on a rough swell and fell overboard during her excursion with Nick. The crew panicked, radioed for aid, and Ridge, hearing the news from the docks, dashed onto a speedboat to search. With roaring waves and a blinding sun, Ridge noticed her, unconscious and floating, and dived in to save her. He hauled her on board, resuscitated her, and as Brooke gasped to life, Ridge cried. The event destroyed his internal conflict. She was his destiny, always had been. Taylor arrived just in time to see Ridge cradling Brooke in a towel on the dock, kissing her forehead, whispering, "I thought I lost you." Eric's purpose had been achieved. Taylor's hope, however, was shattered. She confronted Ridge later that night at the hotel, hopeful for an answer. Instead, she got a confession. Ridge was calling off their engagement. Brooke was the lady he loved. Always had been. Always would be. Taylor returned to her suite alone, silent, contemplative. She didn't yell or throw objects. This time the heartbreak was surgical, slow, intentional, ultimate. She packed her things. When Ridge started to speak again, she just responded, "Don't chase me this time. Chase her." And she walked away. Elsewhere in Los Angeles, Luna woke. Her eyes flew open. Her breath hitched. "Lee," she whispered, her voice raw. Lee nearly dropped the tray of pills in her hands. The moment she'd been dreading had arrived. Luna was awake and aware. Luna's recollections were scattered, but her instincts acute. "Why am I here?" she asked. "Where's the police? Sheila? Liam?" Lee dodged and danced around the truth. She fed Luna half-truths, blaming Poppy for everything. For Luna's mental break, the shooting, even her sadness. "I couldn't let them take you away again," Lee replied, brushing hair off Luna's face. "You were drugged. Lost. They would have locked you up for something that wasn't your fault." But Luna didn't buy it. With every passing day, her questions intensified. Her distrust grew. She wanted her mother. She wanted to know what happened to Liam. And most of all, she wanted to know why Lee had kept her stashed away like a broken toy. The truth was coming, and Lee could feel her grasp on the tail loosening. Hope Logan, meanwhile, waged a different conflict. Daphne Rose was back in town, sultry, intriguing, and gunning for Carter Walton. Hope's engagement wobbled as Daphne dragged Carter closer with every encounter. A supper here, a perfume ad campaign there. Hope attempted to trust him, but jealousy gnawed at her. Carter wasn't immune to Daphne's appeal, and Hope worried history repeating itself. Another Logan woman replaced by a younger, shinier model. As Ridge and Brooke returned to Los Angeles, news of their reunion spread rapidly. Katie expressed cautious support. Thomas rolled his eyes. Donna cheered. But no reaction was more striking than Taylor's quiet. She ghosted the Forresters. She didn't return texts. It was as if she'd fled totally, possibly to clear her thoughts, or perhaps to plot something even more surprising. In the shadows of Luna's hospital bed, Sheila managed to slip past one of Lee's hired guards. She stood over her daughter's face, trembling. "You're alive," she whispered. "They told me you were gone." Lee entered seconds later and screamed for security. But Luna, still sleepy, grasped Sheila's wrist and mumbled, "Mom." The moment cracked Lee's entire strategy. The final week, August 11th to 15th, erupted with cascading repercussions. Ridge wanted to make amends with Taylor, but she refused to answer the door. Electra, now back in L.A., surprised Thomas by her reappearance and hinted at unfinished business. Hope found Carter messaging Daphne late at night and ultimately snapped, flinging her engagement ring across the room. And Luna, now lucid and agitated, asked to see Poppy, demanded the truth, demanded freedom. Lee's lies were going to shatter, and her biggest worry was no longer Luna's incarceration. It was Luna remembering everything. As Ridge and Brooke kissed on the balcony of Eric's home, they were oblivious of what the following act held. But if the past had taught them anything, it was that love didn't come without battle. And somewhere in the distance, Taylor Hayes stood watching from afar, tears on her face, vengeance in her heart. The bold and the beautiful spoilers update for the week of July 28th to August 1st says that Luna Nozoa will finally be returning on screen, while Sheila Sharp makes a plea to Lee Finnegan. Brooke Logan will also snap at Ridge Forrester, so here's what B&B fans may expect. Once the plane lands in Italy, it won't take long for Brooke, Ridge, and Eric Forrester to get to work. There'll be some critical appearances to be made in Naples, but there'll also be a stunning occasion in Capri. Viewers will attend a fancy fashion display and listen to some remarks. But then Brooke will want to take off on an adventure with Nick. Ridge's attempt to control Brooke won't go down well, so she'll strike out at him and chose to leave with Nick anyhow. Of course, Nick will think this is his big chance to sweep Brooke off her feet, so he'll take her out on a boat and ready to pop the question. This is all building to Brooke's injuries and Ridge's life-saving search in the coming episodes. In the meantime, Spencer will have a suggestion for Electra Forrester to chew over. It turns out Will's going to push Electra into fashion modeling, so we'll see if she goes for the notion. As for Sheila, she'll continue to lament the loss of Luna. Lee told Sheila that Luna's service was already done and that it had been managed, but Sheila will still hope to say farewell. Sheila might demand to see Luna's body before it's set to rest, or maybe she'll want to see Luna's urn or grave instead. Regardless, Lee will deny to grant Sheila's proposal. There'll be an amazing explanation why, since Luna is still alive and stored away somewhere. Fans will ultimately see Luna back on screen, but she won't be out of the woods yet when it comes to her recuperation. It looks like Luna will be comatose with all kinds of devices connected up to her, but Lee is surely undoubtedly monitoring her continuously. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say the week of July 28th to August 1st will feature some compelling sequences and big secrets. So stay tuned for updates on all the info Lee's keeping under wraps. Luna's funeral sets off alarm bells. The twisted killer is alive and in a coma. The bold and the beautiful spoilers say that Luna Nozoa's burial sets off alarm bells, bringing the twisted killer's purported death in question. Sheila Carter Sharp talks Poppy Nozoa about Luna's memorial service. She wanted to come to pay her respects to her dead granddaughter.